All right, so you're not going to believe what landed on our desk. It's this formal memorandum, right? And it's proposing something, well, something pretty out there, right in the heart of Amsterdam.
Yeah, this is definitely not your average real estate pitch. The memo comes from a group called the UUCGA, and get this, they want to build a high-end private clinic for the guidance of young professionals and students in existential crisis. I mean, wow. Right off the bat, you know this is about something way bigger than just buildings. We're talking about a crisis of meaning.
Okay, so what's the actual plan here? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of what they're calling a campus for the soul.
So, let's look at the key players. The project? The Ex-Divine Campus Amsterdam. The group behind it is the United Universe Church Academy, or UUCGA for short. And who are they trying to help? Young pros and students. The memo says their business plan and financing are already being consolidated, which means, hey, this isn't just some crazy idea. They're serious about this.
The whole idea, the core concept, is to mash up two totally different worlds into one campus. So you've got this sleek, modern office building, Reimersbeek, which is going to be all about clinical lifestyle integration and tech support. We're talking AI-driven stuff. And then you have this historic church, St. Augustinus Kirk, which is all about contemplation, gatherings, and spiritual rehabilitation. It's this wild mix of like Silicon Valley meets the sacred.
But you gotta ask, right? Why? What's the problem they think they're solving? To really get it, we need to dig into the manifesto that's driving this whole thing. And what they're talking about is a deep crisis of meaning. You know that feeling of just being lost? That's what they're targeting. And when I say bold, I mean bold. The manifesto literally says, a generation of young pioneers is dying from the suffocation of an outdated system, psychiatry. Whoa. I mean, that's not just a little poke at the system. That's a full-on declaration of war, saying that modern mental health care is fundamentally broken.
And this is how they see it. The old system, psychiatry, they call it the NPC matrix. You know, like in a video game, non-player characters just following a script? They're saying it's a soulless system that only patches up symptoms and sees people as, well, just bags of flesh. But their vision? They call it a system upgrade of the human spirit. It's all about getting to the root of the problem by seeing us as something more, as spirit.
So that's the key, right? This word, spirit. This whole project isn't just about real estate or therapy. It's built on this deep philosophical idea that we're more than just biology. It's about tapping into that voice inside of us.
And that brings us to a really interesting question, one posed by the philosopher and hip-hop legend KRS-One. And I want you to actually think about this. Seriously, what voice is it that speaks when you think?
Okay, let's do a little experiment together. Right now. It's super simple, but kind of mind-blowing. Go ahead, close your eyes. Now, in your head, just say the word rock star. Don't move your lips, don't make a sound. You heard it, right? Crystal clear. So, who was talking? And what part of you was listening?
Now, the conclusion KRS-One gets to from this simple test is huge. He says, you can speak without moving your mouth. You can hear without ears. That person is immortal. What he's saying is that inner voice, that listener, that's proof of a part of you, a consciousness that isn't tied to your physical body.
Okay, so we've gone from a business plan to deep philosophy. Now, let's take a hard turn into science, because the work of a cognitive psychologist named Donald Hoffman, well, it lines up with all this in a way that is just startling.
Let me just throw a number at you. 0. That's it. 0%. What is that? According to Donald Hoffman's work with evolutionary game theory, that is the mathematical probability that we evolve to see reality as it actually is. 0. Let that sink in.
So if we're not seeing reality, what the heck are we seeing? Hoffman has this great metaphor, the headset metaphor. He says that what we call reality, space-time, the physical world, it's not the real deal. It's more like a user interface. Think of it like the desktop on your computer or even a VR headset. It's designed to hide the insane complexity of what's really going on and just give us some simple icons to click on so we can, survive.
And just so we're clear, this isn't some wacky fringe idea he cooked up. He puts it bluntly, space-time is doomed. It's not fundamental. That vast space-time universe is a tiny headset that you're using. And get this, high-energy physics is actually pointing in the same direction. The experts are saying space-time isn't the foundation of everything. It's something our consciousness builds.
Okay, let's pull all of this back together. We started with a memo for a clinic. We jumped to philosophy and an inner voice. Then we dove into brain-bending science about reality being a headset. So how does it all connect? Well, it seems to be the blueprint for what these guys are calling architects of a new spirit.
And this is where it all clicks. The X-Divine campus is basically putting these ideas into practice. Look at this. The clinic, the techie part, that's for mastering the external world. It's about using AI to help you navigate the headset of reality better. But then you have the church. That's for the internal world. It's a place for spiritual work, for connecting with that inner voice we talked about. It's like a training facility for both sides of your being.
You know, for all this grand cosmic talk about headsets and spirit, it all comes down to something incredibly personal and simple. There's this beautiful lyric from the Dutch songwriter Bram Vermeulen that says, "You are never alone if you're together with yourself." And maybe that's what this is all about. This whole grand plan is just about helping people make that one crucial connection with themselves.
So I'll leave you with this one last thought to chew on. If Donald Hoffman is right, if this reality we experience every day is really just a headset, then the big question is, what program are you choosing to run?